Hey friends, I want to break down the Super Bowl between the Rams and the Bengals, just really broad, nothing too in depth. First of all, quarterback. What quarterback would you rather have for the Super Bowl? Matthew Stafford or Joe Burrow? Now, we're not talking about 5 years, we're talking about right now. Who would you rather have? I flip flopped. I don't know who I would rather have. I think right now, Matthew Stafford might make the better decisions right now. Maybe he's making the better throws right now overall. But Joe Burrow, his swagger and his confidence, I mean, it's contagious for the rest of the team. I think the rest of the team rallies behind him, but the quarterback play itself, Matthew Stafford might have it. I mean, Matthew Stafford should have it, right? I mean, he's been a quarterback for what, 10, 11 years? Joe Burrow's been a quarterback for a year and a half because he was hurt half of last year, or part of last year. I mean, this should be a clear advantage for Matthew Stafford, but it's not. But I go back and forth, and one reason I go back and forth is because either one of these quarterbacks could go out in this game and throw 400 yards and 4 TDs and no interceptions. But also, both of these quarterbacks also could have a game with less than 200 yards and 2 interceptions or 3 interceptions. So I would call it even right now for the reasons I said. Probably for the in-game mechanics, I'd give it to Stafford right now. But for the influence with the rest of the team, I'd go with Joe Burrow. Now, who's the better? So I'll call that a wash. Quarterback a wash. Who's better at running back? Mixon is better than what the Rams have. Now, that might not show it because of the offensive line. The Bengals' offensive line stinks. But Joe Mixon, he'll be the best running back, I think, in this game. But let's go on to offensive line. The Rams are going to have a far better offensive line. Wide receiver is one that I've gone back and forth because Chase, Higgins, and Boyd. How can you pick against those three? But then, how can you pick against Cooper Kupp and Beckham and Jefferson too? I mean, this is a really tough matchup. And maybe it comes down to Cooper Kupp and Chase. And, I mean, you got to give it to Cooper Kupp, right? I mean, the writing's on the wall that Chase is going to be better than him in the next 3 or 4 years. Maybe next year he'll be better. But right now, I mean, if you just go yards per play and how much Stafford actually targets Cooper Kupp, and how many of those obvious third downs that go to Cooper Kupp that he actually catches. And, I mean, you would think that he would be like double teamed, but it seems like he finds a way to get open. And he's better at getting open, I think, than Chase is. I think he might have more route discipline than Chase. Probably better hands. Chase might be a better home run hitter, but Cooper Kupp's a good home run hitter too. That's why I say I think in the coming years, Chase is going to be a lot better. But right now, Cooper Kupp, thus, I think the Rams have the better receiving unit. Tight end, I think, is a wash. It's going to depend on which ones. They both got hurt, both the starting tight ends, and they're both crucial for their offense. The quarterbacks have great chemistry with the tight ends who got hurt. It's going to depend which one heals up faster for the Super Bowl game, and I think the Rams probably will. So, the defense. Who has the better defensive line? Well, the Rams do. They have Aaron Donald. But the Rams don't have a better defensive line by much. Hendrickson, Reeder, Hubbard, I mean, these are tough guys. Now, I think some of it depends on how do you classify Von Miller. Because we're going the Rams had the better defensive line. Now, when we go to the linebacker core, Von Miller on the roster, he's a linebacker. That's how he's categorized. But Von Miller, he rushes the passer a lot. He blitzes a lot. Now, when we look at the linebackers, who has the better linebackers? The Bengals or the Rams? Well, I think it depends what you want the linebackers to do. I think Logan Wilson and I think Pratt I think they're better coverage linebackers than Von Miller is. I think they're better than the Rams linebackers at pass coverage. But at rushing the passer, I think the Rams had the better linebackers. So it depends what you want them to do. Now, secondary. Secondary is important. Who has the better secondary? Well, the best secondary player is Jalen Ramsey, and he plays for the Rams. He's a corner. He's not that much better, I don't think, than Jesse Bates, but Jesse Bates is a free safety, and corners are, more valuable than free safeties are. I mean, when I say not much better, Jesse Bates is in the top 4 of free safeties. Jalen Ramsey's in the top 4 of corners. So that's what I mean. I think Jalen Ramsey is a significantly better football player. Between those, but outside of Jalen Ramsey, I think the Rams might be a little weaker on the secondary. And the secondary has actually been a strength of the Bengals. I mean, they've shut down Pat Mahomes like in 2 second halves. You have Jesse Bates, you have Von Miller, you have Hilton, who he's from the Steelers. I don't know why you let Hilton go, but he's played really well for the Bengals. And the Bengals are getting really good production from Eli Apple. Eli Apple was let go by the Giants. He was let go by the Saints. He was let go by the Panthers. I mean, these teams didn't want him. And he's earned a starting spot on the Bengals. I think the Bengals have the better secondary. So, the Bengals definitely have an edge in certain aspects of this game. But most people will say that football games are won in the trenches. And remember, I said the Rams had the better offensive line, and they had the better defensive line, and they had the better rushing linebackers. So, when I think of the Rams, and they're not a Super Bowl, on First Take, Michael Irvin called the Rams a super team. They're not a super team, but they are a team that have very good established players. The Bengals kind of have players that are really good but have been overlooked, or maybe the Bengals have players that just fit their scheme really well. But overall, the Rams, I think, have the better team. And when I look at the roster, when I think of the Rams, I think they're kind of like the Browns. Remember in the beginning of the season, the Browns were supposed to be the team that challenged Kansas City? Not because of Baker Mayfield, but because the Browns are supposed to have like the most complete roster. Now, I think Myles Garrett on the Browns, I think he's better than Aaron Donald. I would rather, if you wouldn't rather have Myles Garrett than Aaron Donald, then I question your judgment or your eyes, because with my eyes, Myles Garrett's a beast. But overall, with that roster, I don't think the Rams' roster is better than Cleveland's roster. But at quarterback, Stafford's better than Baker Mayfield. Well, the Rams have better wide receivers. But, talking about secondary, the Browns really have a good secondary. Anyway, I bring this up because when the Bengals and the Browns played each other, and they were both, the first time, the Bengals didn't sit their stars, the Browns, they cleaned the Bengals' clocks. And watching the Rams reminds me of what the Browns should have been. I'm thinking, man, is this going to be like a repeat of that? So I don't know. Then other parts of me think, well, are the Rams like Tennessee, but with a better quarterback? Because Matthew Stafford is better than Tannehill. Thing is there are some teams, I guess, that you can compare the Rams to. I'm not sure there's a team that you can really compare the Bengals to right now. And I personally have not figured out this Bengals team. Are they overrated and they just are going on some sort of lucky streak? Or are they that good? Because if they're that good, and this is some luck, if they're that good, if they wallop Kansas City twice this season in the second half, like like what happened, and it was legit. Now I don't know how much I don't know how much of that was Kansas City, like taking their pedal off and getting caught. I mean, it wouldn't happen twice, right? I don't know. I can't figure out the Bengals. Sometimes Burrow and Chase and Higgins and Boyd, Boyd hasn't really been targeted that much in these playoffs. in the regular season, I would have said Boyd was maybe more valuable than Chase. Chase got all the headlines, but I think Boyd was very valuable. Where's Boyd been in the playoffs? He's made some catches, but really not many. It seems like Higgins has been targeted. Higgins and Chase usually are. So I can't. This Rams team is a good team. This Rams team is a Super Bowl caliber team. The Bengals, they could be like super special, or this could just be one of those freakish things that happens every once in a while. Like with the Atlanta Falcons and Matt Ryan. So going over positions, I think it's helpful, but also we need to keep in mind that Aaron Donald could get totally shut out from sacks, and Reader could end up with 3 sacks, or it depends what type of game they have. You can't just say, well, because the Rams had the better wide receiving core, that means they're going to play better. There's a reason you play the game. Things unpredictable things happen. But I think if you look at these rosters, I think the Rams had the better roster. But friends, and I think the Rams are going to win this game. But looking at the rosters, I didn't see Tennessee losing to the Bengals. I certainly didn't see Kansas City losing to the Bengals. I made a video about how Kansas City was going to beat the Bengals and it wasn't going to be close. Honestly, I can't figure out these Bengals. So, yeah, I can break it down by prediction, by core, unit, and that's what I've tried to do in this video. Anyway, I'd like your feedback. So, please leave your feedback. If you disagree with what I've said, if you think I'm not giving enough credit to someone, please mention. And this video is at the 12-minute mark. I try to keep it brief and just overarching themes. I didn't name every player for every team. And I didn't go over special teams because I don't want to jinx a kicker. I don't want to jinx. So, and special teams, people always mention, well, the kicker, but there's also 10 other players who go on special teams. And I don't know all the special team players for the Bengals and the Rams. Honestly, I don't. I've seen more of the Rams than the Bengals because on my local television, the Rams have, seen more. But anyway, I think this will be a good Super Bowl. I think it's an exciting Super. Now I'm going to say it's no. Anyway, friends, thank you. I hope you're having a great day, and take care. Bye.